Hey,
Oh yeah. Hello.
Ricky, you can hear me?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Look,
How you
I'm
doing,
good, man.
President Obama?
Hey, man, how's your daughter doing?
Oh wow, she's doing good, President Obama. Man, about to make me start crying. I didn't know you knew about that. Thank you for asking.
I just heard about it, and let her know Michelle and I are thinking about her.
Yes, sir. I sure will. That's gonna make her whole day. She's a sophomore at Baylor University, and so she's doing really good. Thank you so much for asking. That means the world.
No, of course, man. I mean, daddies and daughters. That's deep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I am so excited about this. All right. Here we go. And make sure you tell Miss Obama and your daughters I said hello.
You know I will.
Yes, sir. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the 44th President of the United States, President Barack Obama.
Ricky, thank you, man.
Yes,
it's great
sir.
to talk to you.
Hey, it's good talking to you. You seem more relaxed.
You know what? I'm getting a little more sleep, and but even more importantly, Michelle is more relaxed and
Right.
and like most households, when mama's happy, everybody's happy.
Yes, sir. And congratulations on your new memoir, A Promised Land, which was released last month and is breaking records, already selling over 2 million copies. Congratulations on that.
You know what? I guess it must make a good Christmas present.
Yes, sir. Now, when you first announced the book, you tweeted that you wrote it to provide an honest accounting of your presidency and the forces we grapple with as a nation, and how how we can heal our divisions and make democracy work for everybody. And with 2021 around the corner and moving into a new administration, how do we start the healing?
Well, look, what we realized, I think, in this election, and I write about it in the book, is the country is divided, and we can't deny that, right? It's divided not just along racial lines. It's divided along economic lines. It's divided, in terms of attitudes of folks in cities versus more rural areas. But part of the reason that we're so divided also, though, is because I think the media encourages division. We've had a president who obviously fanned the flames of division. And I do think that with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they can set a better tone.
Yeah.
Hopefully, at least some in the media have learned that, you can't feed folks who are out there spewing misinformation and hate and not expect there are going to be some consequences. But I think the most important thing we all have to do is we have to pay attention. And part of the goal of the book is to, for people who want to know, all right, how does stuff really work?
Right.
How does power work? How does politics work? What's the inside scoop in terms of why some stuff gets done and some stuff doesn't? This book, I think, is designed to empower citizens.
Yes, sir.
And what I was very proud of how everybody turned out in this last election, and I think that kind of sustained involvement and sense of citizenship, that's going to be a big key to us being able to get past some of the problems we've had recently.
Yes, sir. And you rarely see this perspective of a president in their time in office. There are moments in the book where you feel as though you may have fallen short of some of your own expectations from the timeline covered in the book. What
Right.
do you feel like your most teachable moment was?
Well, look, I write in the book about getting health care passed and how that was an epic battle. Republicans were blocking everything we tried to do. You had the drug companies, the insurance companies, and some folks even in my own camp, who weren't sure whether we could get it done. And we fought and fought, and finally were able to get a health care law passed that, now is popular, but back then was costly politically. But I describe how, that was a reminder that at the end of the day, the most important thing is what can you get done, even if the politics of it aren't always good at the time. The flip side is I describe in the book the fact that there's some things that I wanted to get done that I couldn't get done.
Right.
Because I think I overestimated my ability to overcome Republican obstruction. I also think I sometimes thought, okay, just because I'm doing the right thing, everybody's going to know it.
Right.
And it turned out that, you have to sell what you're doing. And that's something that you kind of understand during the campaign. But once I was done with the campaign and I was so busy, we were trying to save the economy, save the auto industry, get health care passed, make sure young people could go to college and fix the student loan system. So we're doing all this stuff, and we still had two wars at the same time. And sometimes I just lost sight of the fact, okay, I got to go out there and promote what we're doing and market it. And because, people don't necessarily know what's true and what's not.
Right.
So we ended up losing, the Democrats ended up losing the majority in the House of Representatives after my first 2 years. And I take some blame for that in terms of not appreciating the fact that in this media environment, you can't assume that just because you do the right thing that people are going to know it.
Right. Now, in one of the chapters, you talk about the strain that politics put on your marriage, and even coming to fierce fights some nights. What did you say to Miss Obama to finally convince her that you should run for president?
Well, listen, as I write, I think it may have been her family and her brother, my brother-in-law Craig, and
right,
friends of ours who may have convinced her more than me, because as I write about in the book, I understand why she was resistant. We had been going nonstop in the years leading up to me running for president. I describe it as being shot out of a cannon.
Right.
We had two small children. Michelle still had to work because it wasn't like we were rich folks. I was gone a lot, traveling, campaigning. I run for U.S. Senate. I'm commuting back and forth from Washington to Chicago. She just felt like we were getting settled in. And
Right.
then suddenly people start talking about me running for president. And, I describe a scene in the book where I come to her and I say, listen, honey, this wasn't my plan, but folks have talked to me about maybe I should do this. And I think it's important for us to kind of think about whether this is a possibility. She said, what do you mean us? This is you.
Right.
This is your thing. And I had to step back and re-examine, all right, why am I doing this? And remind myself of the costs and the burdens that I was placing on her and my daughters. And at the end of the day, I think she decided that she didn't want to be standing in the way of what might end up being a historic, campaign. But as I also describe in the book, she never got happy about it.
Right.
It wasn't like after we won, she said, "Oh, okay, that was a good idea." She still, had her doubts and frustrations, and I'm just now getting out of debt, getting out of the
Right.
doghouse a little.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Christmas is right around the corner, and I have experienced the holiday parties at the White House. And what family traditions do you look forward to now? Because all of those those White House parties was the best. But I know you had to take 10,000 pictures that night, so it probably wasn't a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, I write about that in the book too. How we, the White House during Christmas is spectacular.
It is.
It actually lives up to the hype. It's beautiful, right? You got all these huge trees and all these volunteers come in and decorate them and wreaths, and you got the Marine band in their red jackets, all playing Christmas songs. And
the food was the president.
Yes. Yes, I saw you near the Big Shrimp.
Right.
Yeah. But so we don't have that anymore. But the traditions that actually you remember the most are the traditions that we had even before we had got to the White House, and we still do. It's
right.
It's decorating the tree, and we put on the soundtrack. From Charlie Brown's Christmas, that's always the first song, right?
Right.
Christmas time is here, right? And then, you kind of move on. You get a little Nat King Cole in there,
right? And you can't forget the Temptations, President Obama.
No, you got to get the Temptations on, and then you got the eggnog, you got the little hot cider,
right?
You got the cookie, and. Even now, nothing's changed over the last 15 years. The girls they'll put on like 2 decorations, and then they'll be sitting there eating the cookies.
Right.
And Michelle and I will end up doing all the decorations because they're too busy eating cookies. So
that's right.
Some things don't change, man.
Now, do you see yourself potentially doing a Promised Land book tour for the fans?
Well, look, Michelle was filling up stadiums. Obviously, COVID has prevented me from traveling and appearing before large crowds. But one thing we're looking at is if, in fact, with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris now in office, I know they're going to take the pandemic seriously.
Yes.
They start putting out better information. We get the vaccine. It gets distributed properly. People take proper precautions. With that leadership, hopefully by next summer, we can potentially see things getting closer to normal. And, the one thing I have missed during this whole process is, just interacting with people. We've been doing some virtual stuff,
right,
with book clubs and, Zooming. But, nothing beats being with some folks, at a neighborhood bookstore or something like that. So, we'll see if we can get that set up. I'll let you know if I'm coming your way.
Absolutely. And President Obama, we got to get those 2 Senate seats in the state of Georgia. And if everybody that's listening in Georgia right now, what would you tell them?
Listen, it is great that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been elected, but they will not be able to get legislation passed,
right,
if we do not get the Senate majority. So as impressive as the turnout was in November in Georgia, thanks to the work of folks like Stacey Abrams and activists on the ground, this is just as important, if not more important. And we need everybody in Georgia, and your mama, and your uncles and aunties and everybody,
right,
to get out there and vote. This is priority number one, because it will set the, this is part of what my book describes, is that, a president alone can't get much done.
Right.
The president has to have allies in Congress. And those 2 Senate seats are going to be what potentially puts Joe and Kamala in a position to deliver on the promise of this new administration.
President Obama, is always a pleasure. I'm talking about from the beginning of your campaign. I remember when you came to Dallas, Texas, we was in somebody's backyard when you just got out of that car with one person. Emmett Smith was there. We were all hanging out. And all the way up until now, it's just been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for everything you have done for this country and your inspiration. I'm so proud of you, you and the First Lady. And everybody make sure you get his new memoir, A Promised Land, for yourself or a gift for someone this holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Appreciate you, Ricky.
Yes, sir.
Much
Thank
love. Stay safe. Have a great holiday.
Hey, same to you, Mr. President. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
How you feel?
I mean, yeah, Derek, I know. It just never get old because you trying to do, you know. I had so many questions that I wanted to ask him, but you don't want to, you want to respect the time. I had 100 questions I wanted to ask, but you're on the time because he's doing other interviews.
Oh, this is great.
Man, I could talk to him all day, man. I wish I could get an interview with him. I wanted to ask him about the importance of Joe Biden, what made him pick Joe Biden. I want to ask him a question. What is it like to work with Kamala Harris? What do you think of Donald Trump? I wanted to ask, like, why didn't you, when you did start speaking out, when Joe Biden was running, it felt like I don't know, man. I had so many questions, but I had to ask the most important ones, questions that was geared towards the book. But man, when I get my dream and my goal is to get that face to face. And then he asked about my daughter.
We gotta include that part. I gotta tell
you. Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta include that part.
It almost brought tears to my eyes.
It humanized.
Absolutely.
And like I said, just the relationship.